Would you consider yourself a friend of the Prime Minister, the current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau?
No. I consider myself having I'm not a friend. I have a professional relationship.
When did you first meet?
Excuse me, can I finish, Mr. Chair?
Sure. Briefly.
I respect him. I think he respects me. I don't have his personal phone number, and I haven't been in a room alone with him.
Okay. Never been in a room alone with him.
Yeah.
All right. When did you first meet the Prime Minister? And when I'm referring to the Prime Minister, I'm always referring to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. When did you first meet him?
I think I met him in 2013, when I was actually going up to meet.
Before he was elected.
Before he was, going up.
Prime Minister.
You know where I was going is to see Mr. Flaherty, and I was in the elevator, and someone introduced him to me and said, "This is Justin Trudeau." I didn't know what he looked like or where he was. There's no McKinsey people coming into the meetings with the Prime Minister.
So Mr. Pickersgill was supporting you in terms of the research and analysis, although you're saying he wasn't attending meetings. Is that
he
correct?
wasn't supporting. The Prime Minister was not in any of the Growth Council meetings.
Okay.
Not one. Just like Prime Minister Harper, by the way.
Mr. Pickersgill was supporting the work of the Growth Council.
Mr. Pickersgill was actually saying that the committee, the whole committee, the 14 people, needed support with data.
So he was supplying that?
No, he provided people who supplied it.
Okay. So I have emails that I referred to earlier where he is in the process of pitching the government on work that McKinsey could do for the government, citing his work in supplying people and in otherwise supporting you for the Growth Council. So that is consistent, I think, with your testimony, although you said he wasn't physically present in the meetings.
It's not consistent with my testimony. What I said was I don't know what he was doing on that side.
You don't know what he was doing.
Emails.
That's another thing you don't know then. Fair enough?
I don't think that's a very fair comment.
But it's something you don't know, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
all right.
And why should I know?
Okay. McKinsey has been forced to pay hundreds of millions of dollars to compensate victims of the opioid crisis in the United States. However, to date, it has not paid out any compensation in Canada. Do you think that Canadians who have suffered as a result of the opioid crisis should be entitled to the same compensation from McKinsey that was paid out in the United States?
I think you should talk to McKinsey about that. That was a settlement in the U.S., and that was a settlement because...
Right, but Canadians were victims of the opioid crisis as well, right? So should Canadians not...
I think you need to talk to McKinsey about that.
You don't have an opinion on it, though? I mean,
I don't know the details. I don't know what role McKinsey played in that at all. I don't...
Even if you didn't know about it at the time, you weren't sort of interested in reading about it afterwards to understand, like, the fact that the company you had led had been involved in causing this massive public health crisis that killed, by now probably hundreds of thousands of people.
Well, there you go again, saying that we're responsible for the entire thing, and I totally disagree with that.
Well, I mean, you paid $600 million in compensation. That implies that there was some level of responsibility, surely. I mean, people don't generally pay that level of compensation if they're not.
We made a mistake. You make a calculation.
What was the mistake?
Can I just explain something first? In settlements, maybe you aren't familiar with how settlements work, but there's a huge amount of litigation that could occur. We could have been in the courts in the U.S. government for a decade.
But
and what we decided to do...
You just said you made a mistake. So what was the mistake?
Hang on, I just want to finish what I was saying.
No, sir, it's my time. What was the mistake?
The mistake was actually not realizing what Purdue was doing in the system and as you said, stopping to work with that client. That's the mistake.
Right. What was Purdue doing that you didn't realize they were doing?
I don't have the detail on that, but my understanding is that they were playing a role in broadening the use of opioids in the U.S.
Right. But it was McKinsey that was advising them on how to turbocharge those sales. I mean, it was turbocharging sales were in the title of the project you did for them.
There's a lot of sensational words in there.
Sensational?
Because...
Tell us sensational to the families who have lost loved ones, sir. This isn't sensational. This is real life.
What I do know is in that settlement, there was nothing done unlawfully